All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Pub Talk. I'm your host here, Chase Wilson. And today I have something very, very exciting to talk about, something that needs to be talked about, and something that should be talked about more often than what it is, and that is overcoming addiction. And if anyone out there is listening to this and doesn't think that that is a very serious thing in Jennings County, I'm about to read you some stats. And these stats I picked up from Mr. Kenny Freeman, our county sheriff here, and I just wanted to read these out to you guys to let you understand how serious this really is. For the year of 2020, there were 1,680 bookends. And for people who don't know what a bookend is, that is, you've went through all the systems, you've registered your name, you've got a case number, everything, you were legit incarcerated. And Mr. Freeman continued to tell me that more than 80% of that number were related to drugs. Now, 1,680 at 80% is 1,344 drug-related bookends or cases, leaving 336 bookends for the entire year of 2020 for anything else other than being drug-related. You know, that's not even including alcohol, which is also a big problem nowadays. And so I just wanted everyone to realize that is a huge problem here. And my goal on this podcast, which I talked to Freeman about, is to help some of those people out there that are going through this and get our youth involved in knowing exactly what this is, because I can tell you right now, when I was younger, I wasn't even thinking about this, but today it's so readily available and out there that it's just important to talk about and to get our youth involved. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, guys, more than 80%. And the stats that I gave you were just 80%. You know, the number of that is more than 80%. So just wanted to throw that out there to get you guys' attention on how serious this problem is. And so with that being said, I got 3 guests here today that have courageously volunteered to maybe shed some light on the addiction and tell their stories and about how they've come, you know, from being addicted to the life of sobriety, and shed some light on their stories and maybe get some of those people that don't know about addiction or that are really judgmental about addicts, because you don't know what they go through. You really don't. And this is very serious. And I know that I've been guilty of it. There's people out there that judge addicts, and you guys just need to see a day in that life, right? You need to see what these guys go through. These guys and girls, it's very common in the females too, if not more, to be honest. So I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves a little bit, and then we're going to jump right into these questions that I've wrote down, and we're going to talk about some stuff. So you guys we'll go left to right here.
Okay, my name is Billy. My addiction is pretty much everything. I mean, drugs-wise, you name it, I've tried it, you know, and I liked most of them. And I kept doing a few of them, unfortunately. But opiates was my biggest downfall. I've been sober for over a year off of heroin, you know. Haven't done any hard drugs, so I try not to count the days, because it's hard for me to wake up and be like, oh, today I'm not going to do drugs. So I try to just not think of drugs at all, rather than think of, oh, I'm going to stay sober today. It's more of, I'm just not going to think of drugs at all. You know what I mean? So right. Counting the days makes the drugs more prevalent to me, you know, like, oh, you just hit 30 days. Now I'm thinking about drugs. You know what I mean? But if I just go on with my life and not count the days, I'm not thinking, you know. Right. So, anyways, so it's been over a year since I did any hard drugs.
Good deal.
My name's AJ Wilson. My addiction it was mainly to opiates and heroin. I was addicted to meth too. I mean, to be honest, they all kind of go hand in hand. If you can't get one, you can do the other, you know. But my main focus whenever I woke up each day was heroin or any other type of opiate that would make me feel better. And I have almost 3 years sober. So
Let's go.
Amen.
Let's go.
Yes.
Good deal.
My name's Chris McQueen, and my addiction was mainly alcohol, but I was also addicted to meth too. If I wasn't on meth, I was drinking. If I wasn't drinking, I was on meth. So the hardest one for me to get off of was alcohol. Meth, I just up and left the state for a week. Got my mind right, got away, not talked to anyone, didn't even tell anyone I was leaving. Up, left, got back, started over.
Good deal. Well, I just wanted to also throw out there, I appreciate all you guys, because this is not an easy thing to talk about.
Right.
It's really not. And just for you guys to volunteer your time to maybe change someone else's life is there's no words.
Well, everyone, I don't want to sound harsh when I say this, but everyone touches on, opiate and meth addiction. And I'm not downplaying it, don't get me wrong, but I haven't personally had a strong addiction to alcohol. So I've never been like, oh, I can just go to the store and get my drug of choice. I've had to go, hours away to get my drug. What I'm getting at is I commend anyone that's overcoming an addiction to alcohol because it's
so readily available,
and it's legal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you can see a cop and have a beer in your hand,
Yeah.
but you can't see a cop and be doing some heroin. You know what I mean? Because that's wrong. You know what I mean? But I don't want anyone to think, oh well, I just drink. Because alcohol is a really
it can
big
change
addiction.
your life the same way drugs can. I mean, it really can.
It hit my life hard when I was young because I lost my dad and I found him dead due to alcohol. You know what I mean? So alcohol is a lot, I don't want to say worse, but you can compare it to any drug. I don't want anyone to think that this is all about, heroin or meth or even just all about alcohol, but let's not discount the alcohol. People really need to understand, alcohol is a thing, not just opiate.
I used to feel the same way, man. I tell my fiance all the time, I'm like, if I could walk into any store and buy heroin, I don't know that I would ever be able to beat my addiction.
Yeah.
Legit.
Exactly.
Legit.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can
absolutely.
take myself away from drug dealers.
Right, and it's just like, so I'm on, it's no secret, I'll put it out there, but I'm on home detention. And I'm not supposed to be able to eat in any restaurant that serves alcohol. But everywhere serves alcohol.
Yeah, it's very readily available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have much respect as well to anyone that has overcame
that.
alcohol addiction.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I'm 2.5 years sober off alcohol, 4 years sober off meth.
Never look back, man.
No.
Never look back on it. Those are big things to overcome.
Yeah, for sure.
All of it.
The only thing that changed my mind on the alcohol was walking into work, blacked out, no shoes, shorts, and a cutoff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there, it was lose my job, lose my girlfriend, lose both my kids, or actually step up and do something. So I put myself in rehab.
Respect.
Yep.
Much respect.
There's always a breaking point.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, let's jump into this first question here, and that is simply, why did you choose the drug or drugs that you did? What was it, that started you out? It's open. I mean, you guys can. I mean, I know it's not easy, but
So I'll go first. My drug of choice. So whenever I was younger, man, get to a point where you are hanging out, you drink, smoke some pot, whatever, but
Almost like the norm.
yeah,
A normal high school party, to be honest with you.
So to say that, why did I choose this drug? My story starts out as my dad was prescribed pain medicine for his back, and somebody in the family actually was taking him, stealing him from him, and I remember seeing this person go around our house, and I was just, what the hell are they doing? And finally, he got tired of me following him around. He's like, I'm looking for your dad's pills. Like, do you know how much money you can make off of these pills? I'd never even thought about it, Well, then I try it, and obviously liked it, but whenever I had those pills, I started taking my dad's pills. And whenever I had them, people I didn't even know, I was all of a sudden cool.
Yeah.
Status symbol.
Because of these,
for sure.
And that's what latched me into it. That's what I was addicted to before anything, man, was being that dude.
The lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, being that dude that people come to, the need to be needed, and the friends that come along with
You became the plug.
Yeah, I mean,
for real.
as a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
All because...
Which, high school is a very trendy time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you find somebody and you're buddies with them and you're like, they become the plug like that, man. That's...
So that's what I was addicted to, man, was being...
the popular,
before
cool
I was ever
plug.
addicted to the drug,
right?
I was addicted to being that dude, and that's so dangerous.
Oh yeah.
I played 4 sports. I was a treasurer of student council my freshman year in high school, and then my sophomore year, I get kicked out of school for dealing pills in school because I was just thirsty for popularity, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's where my life spiraled. That's where it really spiraled.
Man, I wish there was some way to just pinpoint this. Why did I do this? Because, man, if I knew this, I would tell so many people not to. You know what I mean? But
right.
I just.
It's just kind of the same way. Is it in the same way as started off young, like when you was in school? Kind of the same kind of deal.
But it just progressed. You know what I mean?
It progresses fast.
My addiction was more like a snowball. You know what I mean? It went from, hanging out, cussing at 5, with my friends, then smoking cigarettes at 7. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I was a rebel. And then stealing when I was 8, smoking pot when I was 9, drinking when I was 10. You know what I mean? And it just snowballed all the way. And seeing. Not that it was okay with my mom and my dad being addicted. I never thought that it was okay, but just that it was accepted, It was never because there was never really consequences until my dad died, So, and after my dad died, it was just like, oh, well, why not? My dad's dead. My mom's a crackhead. I mean, she didn't do crack, but meth, Yeah. That, in my eyes, I was just like, she's a crackhead, doesn't give a fuck about me. So, why not? And then I started doing drugs. It's like...
So yours honestly would have started with a lot of emotional... Kind of emotional, as in you was on your own.
But, but I don't want to blame that on... You know what I mean? I don't want that to be the excuse of my addiction because, I moved up here. I never did heroin until I moved up here.
And where did you move from?
I moved from Arizona. I lived with my mom down there. She went to jail when I was a minor, so I moved up here with my brother and my grandma. So I never did heroin until I moved up here. And why I'm saying that is because stable home up here. My grandma was there all the time, never had to worry about nothing. Food on the table. She cared about me, loved me. And my brother was stern. You know what I mean? I had a stable household and I still did drugs. You know what I mean? So
that can happen to anyone.
Exactly. So I don't want to blame it on, the past or whatever. That's just me. You know what I mean? It just happened.
That's what a lot of people do is they blame it on what has happened and using that as an excuse instead of actually manning up and being like, hey,
Right.
it's me. I'm the one
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the last thing I want to do is, make an excuse at all, because my addiction is mine and it's my fault. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame any one person. I can't even blame my parents for putting me in that environment. You know what I mean? I just have to blame myself for, doing it. You
Yeah.
know? And I wish I could explain addiction, wish I was smart enough. But
And that's why I was,
I'm not here.
whenever we were kind of talking before this, that's what I was kind of saying was there's so many different types of addicts. Like, so we can only reference who we are.
Right.
What type of addict we are. Just like I said, I come from a stable home.
Right.
My mom's she's an alcoholic. She's going to hear this, but I think that she knows that. And I lived with my dad and my stepmom, but there was never any want or need there.
Right,
And like I
exactly.
said, I was president, or I was treasurer of student council. I was in sports. I was, I lived great.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that you're not,
You can
someone
fall
who
to
comes
it.
from
Yeah.
nothing can never be an addict, and someone who has everything can always end up
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it can happen at any time.
And that's why it's
To
so
anyone.
important. Like, I want this to get out to the younger kids, to their parents.
Open their eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an eye opener.
It isn't about how you're
that
brought
stat,
up.
that stat
Yeah,
alone, right
for
there.
Sure.
For you know what I mean, like that, and that's why I threw that in there is because people. I don't think people around. I mean, you hear about it. You know what I mean. You
Right.
hear about it. How big the opioid crisis is. But look at that number.
Yeah, but you got to think too. Like you said, that's 80+%.
Yeah,
so you just
more than 80%.
And then there's theft in there. But
Right.
why did they do that?
Right.
Why did they steal something?
And that's
Did you
what I'm
ever
saying.
steal something to get high?
let me say
I know
this.
I did. I didn't steal from, I stole from Walmart, but still, it's still stealing. You know what I mean? It's not right.
Let me go over this real quick because this is one thing So the top 10 offenses in the jail. Right. Let me read these. Possession of, and they're not in any certain order of how many, or what. But the top 10 are possession of methamphetamine, operating while intoxicated, wanted on a warrant, court order, theft, possession of narcotic or alleged drug violation, maintaining a common nuisance, criminal confinement, possession of marijuana, and domestic battery. Right? And just like you said, because I was the same way. I was like, man, okay, so your incarceration's for theft. How's that really drug related? Well, just like you said, people steal and to get money to fund their addiction.
Yeah.
Right? Same way with like domestic battery. People don't
Getting
understand
drunk.
how big domestic battery is in
for
Jennings
sure.
County. Seriously. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I'm with you 100%.
And that is also, alcohol contributes a lot to domestic battery and drug related.
Drugs, all drugs do. They put you in a different state of mind. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
and
they're
all the wanted for warrants and court orders, drug related. You get arrested for that having that drug or whatever, and you're supposed to show up for court and you don't. Well, that's drug related. And more than 80% of that, I gave you the stats for just 80%.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be 86%, it could be 85%. Those numbers could all vary.
But 80.5%
Yeah,
is
oh, yeah.
horrible.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That sucks.
Yeah. In a county like this that has a population of I don't even know what. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the certain population, but still, like that's pretty serious numbers there, man.
Yeah.
So anyone that out there that didn't think that it was that big a deal, it's a pretty big deal.
Hey, and I'm sure that if you haven't been personally affected by it, or someone in your family wasn't personally affected by addiction, then I guarantee someone in your immediate family knows someone that has been affected by it.
Everybody knows somebody.
If not lost a close friend or family member to addiction.
You got to think you're living in Jennings County, man. It's like a game of telephone. You could start a rumor and hear the same. You could hear that rumor 25 minutes later. Everybody knows somebody that's addicted. I mean, let's just face it. That's cold hard facts. You know what I mean? Let's get to you, Chris. What?
Why did I?
No. So why did you choose? Why did you choose? You said you was addicted to meth and then alcohol, right?
Yeah.
What was it that What was it about those that you got started on?
Well, the meth was, let me try it. I've never tried it before. Never really heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, tried it. I don't know. I don't know if it was just the high or just the staying awake, being busy all the time, always doing something.
What age were you say that you started?
19.
19.
Yeah.
But you could come up with any excuse of why you use the drug, but in the deepest level, you did it to change the way you were thinking. You know what I mean? Just period.
There's something. There's something that made you.
You didn't. I mean, unless you were forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a different thing. But if you willingly did something, you're trying to feel different. Because you know that when you hit this chicken bone or drink that shot or take that shot, you know what I mean? You're going to feel different. And that's what you're searching for.
That's what you're chasing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
But, I mean, my drug of choice would be alcohol, hands down.
Right.
I mean,
that's a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of alcoholics out there.
I mean,
I know.
Yeah. Socially acceptable too.
I grew up, I had the perfect life. Drag racing when I was 8, football, basketball. Mom and dad didn't drink, nothing. Stable home.
No, that's just what we were talking about.
Yeah,
It can happen to anybody.
everything.
You have everything.
Exactly.
Your life's good. You got everything that you need. You're cared for, and you can still fall
Yeah.
to the addiction.
My mom got sick, lost both of her kidneys. She was on dialysis for quite a few years until she actually passed away. And I think what got me the most was seeing her passing away, getting her taken off the machines, everything else. That kind of put me through the loop. I walked out of my stepdad. I just wanted to do me.
How old were you?
16.
See, man, I was 8, dude, when I lost my dad. I wish that I could have had the consciousness of a 16-year-old to be like, man, that's from alcohol. I don't want to be like that, you know what I mean? But instead, I was just like, man, I just lost my dad. I'm sad, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, I wasn't thinking the reason that this happened is alcohol, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the reason. I was doing it before she passed away. But
right.
It was just
It was that threshold.
Yeah, it was walking out, my real dad coming into my life after 16 years and not even being there. Age of 16.
You just kind of felt alone, and you could do whatever you want, and you had the power to do whatever you wanted.
I mean...
And you're at 16. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty retarded at 16.
I mean, let's be honest. Who in this room wasn't? Really? Like
You can't get old and wise without being young and dumb, dude. At 16,
True.
I was full-blown retarded. I mean, tell you.
what kids are now thinking they can do whatever they want, stay out however late they want through school.
Yeah, they don't know.
Man.
I had that. And, I took advantage of it. Stay out late. Dude.
But look at the road.
Yeah.
Look at the road. You know what I mean? Imagine being 16 and then you turned all that down. How, would your life be different?
Oh, completely.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man.
Turned all what down?
That's
Meaning
what I'm
the
saying.
drugs?
Oh, okay. I mean, if you were 16 years old, right? You were 16 years old and you decided not to do, or in your case, like you were 8. You know, imagine being 8 and you didn't, and you decided not to do anything. Your life would be totally different.
Hey, my mom gave it to me. You know what I mean? It wasn't even the cool thing to do. It was just the thing to do. You know what I mean? Like when you see a 12-year-old smoking a cigarette because they took it from their parents. You know what I mean? I never took it. It was just given to me. You know what I mean? I was just handed it and it was okay. It wasn't this is good, this is bad. It was this is what it is. This is how it goes down, you know. Everyone does it. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing. It's just that's how it is. You know what I mean? I never was like I just went with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's why I feel sorry for my kids. I mean, I'll be honest, because
this world's messed up.
Well, not only that, it's just the type of parent once they get to these ages that I'm going to be.
Yeah. Because you know.
Right.
Right.
And like my parents didn't do it. They did it because they let me hang out and do stuff because that's what they did. That's what,
Yeah.
you know, but they grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, yeah, sure, they did wild things and whatever, and they partied, but
But
like,
it's different back
But
then.
times were
different.
different.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
different back then.
and now, like, now that those times are so different, like when my kid, like my daughter just turned 13. One of my boys are about to turn
It's
12.
scary, isn't it?
And I'm like, it's time to buckle down, you know,
Yeah.
with everything.
Yeah, because you, like I said, man, it's so readily available. You know what I mean? Like think back when we were kids. What kind of stuff we seen compared to being a 13-year-old now?
Yeah, I can
You
only
could go to any
imagine.
party and see this shit. I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest. I've seen it.
A lot
Well,
of
I
times
mean-
I brought it.
Yeah, again,
You know,
right?
social media and the phones and the technology of the day, that doesn't.
Yeah, like what
know.
you said earlier. Like,
Yeah.
and we didn't even. I'll be honest with you. Until just 4 years ago, I saw the flip phone.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
And see,
truthful.
now people nowadays sell drugs on Twitter or
Yeah, just cash out me the
Instagram
money,
or whatever.
man.
Like,
Just cash out me the money.
I honestly, I don't have a Cash App or any of those things, but I've heard of people selling drugs online. It's like back in the day, we had, like I said, we had to go hours away to cop. Nowadays, it's delivered in the mail, or you know what I mean, or someone brings it to you. You know,
it's way easier to get a hold
exactly,
of.
yeah.
I mean, it's,
And social media it's the devil, man.
it really is.
Listen to me, my cousin. Obviously, I won't use no names or anything, but he seen a TikTok challenge a couple months ago of eating Benadryl. The kid ate a whole bottle of Benadryl and had to be Narcan twice, and was in Riley Hospital, about died.
Over
Yeah.
a freaking TikTok challenge.
A TikTok
I remember when
challenge.
the Tide Pod thing
Yeah.
was going around
That's exactly
too.
what
Yeah.
I was thinking about when you said
Right.
that.
Right, yeah.
Pods,
And it's like,
But again, we're talking about addiction. They're just seeking that fame. They
social
just-
media is an addiction.
Exactly. They just want that feeling.
Yeah.
Just like I got that feeling when I did heroin. You got it when you drank or did it meth. You did heroin too. That's just, you get that feeling. The addiction isn't confined to just drugs.
Absolutely not.
And it's just getting worse. and
Hey, you
worse,
be addicted to all kinds of things. To be honest, you can,
But there's
like you're
good
trying to quit smoking
addictions.
cigarettes,
yeah,
dude.
True.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, nicotine. Think of all those people out there that's quit nicotine. If you're listening to this and you quit nicotine, imagine how hard that is, and then think about a hard drug and multiply
No.
that by 15.
Yeah.
right.
Like social media. When you get bored, what's the first thing you do?
Facebook.
You get that.
Yeah.
You get that
Yeah.
phone out and you go right to Facebook. Instant gratitude.
Yeah.
About the only
Instantly.
person I know that's smart's my brother. He does not. He has Messenger where we can get a hold of him, but he does not scroll Facebook. He deleted it about a year ago.
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm like, dude,
If I wasn't doing this, that's what I'd do. Man, I only have that now just so I can share this.
right?
You know what I mean? Because that's how I'm going to be
Well,
successful in
that's the
this.
platform. How you going to get out there?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's the number one way to reach people. So it's a double-edged sword.
But
You can use social
just
media for good or bad.
But just like he said, there's good addictions, bad
Right.
addictions.
Right. I know all kinds of people addicted to race cars. There's not a damn thing wrong with that.
But
That's an
on-
expensive addiction.
But on the same note, I know people that drink and aren't addicted to alcohol,
Right.
Right.
and this might be heavily debated, but I honestly know people that do drugs.
Oh no,
And,
that's not
you know,
debated. That's true.
Like they're functioning. You know what I mean? It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Well, it's just like, alcohol is the same way. I'm not going to mention names, but I know people that can drink a 30-pack a day
Right.
and function.
Yeah.
I
Right.
swear to God.
sure.
I know people that will get behind the wheel of a car that I know would blow at .2,
Yeah.
and they
Drive
could
fine.
pass a freaking driver's ed test.
Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So there's all kinds of addictions out there.
Right.
That's just the truth of it. So next question, and this is going to be extremely vivid. You want yours up?
No.
I'm good. I can hear myself. This could be extremely vivid because also a lot of people don't know, like what it is when you first got high, right? When you first did that drug, I've heard people tell me like heroin. When you first do heroin, the high is so utopia, like it's euphoric. Then you spend the rest of that addiction chasing that first high, which you'll never get, but you try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what was it about that first high? You know what I mean? I know it's You know what I mean? I know but this is raw.
Right.
This people need to hear this, because there's people out there that are saying, I guarantee you there's people out there that are already saying, yeah, whatever. You know, he just shoots heroin. But you don't know.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? So enlighten those people what it is about it. You know, same way with meth. You know, and being young, you could start drinking too. But the hard drugs.
Right. Hey, just because there's a stigma to it, you know.
Right. I know this is going to be vivid. I mean, I know
it's just hard. It's hard to say how you felt when you first got high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because one, it's hard to say how you feel. Period. To put a feeling into a word.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to put it's like having sex and finishing, ejaculating, and that feeling. It's hard to
put that into words.
Right. Except for ejaculation. Just like getting high. You know, it's hard to say, oh, this is how I feel when I get high. It's just, I got high. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the first time I was super high. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I wish that I can't say, oh, you know, I blacked out and I started
was like
feeling
floating on a
colors.
cloud.
Yeah, and I see
stuff
shit.
I was just high. You know, that's the only way I know how to.
So
explain
basically, you were out of your own mental state.
Oh yeah,
and that's what it is.
And 100%, that's what I wanted more of.
Right.
To be out of your own mental state, your natural mental state.
That's why I kept doing it, and I wanted to feel like that. And I always thought, you know, that first time I got high, it was good. It was great, wonderful. But I always thought every time I got high, I can get higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
And maybe I did when I OD'd. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
But I never felt higher than that first time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right, and that's why I've said that before. You know, I think that, and whether we don't know if it's true, but I think that the people that do overdose actually reach that state of what they're trying to get, but it's too much.
Yeah.
And then
your body can only take so much.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
But like the way that I would explain it to people is, so especially people that haven't been through any type of addiction necessarily to any substance, but like a lot of people have been to the doctor and or been in the ER and they've had, or you know, broken arm or broke a bone, and then they give you the doctor, the hospital's famous for when you get pain and giving you Dilaudid.
Yep.
And how many people do you know will say, "Oh man,
best
I got
feeling
that
ever.
Dilaudid, and I was
Best
just
feeling
man,
ever."
it felt great, and I was, you know."
Well,
And then so you do that, but then harness it, and imagine that your brain tells you want that all the time.
and being
Instead
able
of it
to
just
get
being
it.
something that happened in the hospital.
Yeah, and being able to chase that at will, you know,
Right.
with your drug of choice.
You just
know.
put the blinders on and you chase that same
Yes,
feeling.
yes.
And I hear people that aren't, like I said, that aren't addicted all the time say how good it felt to get that Dilaudid in their IV at the hospital. And that is literally what it felt like. That's what it felt like to get high and really like it for the first time.
But see, they can't keep going back to the doctor with a broken arm.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when we did heroin for the first time, we could keep going back to the homie or, you know, our friend to get more, or the drug dealer if he wasn't our friend, to get more, you know. It was that easy, you know. So
And I think it was being young and naive and you know, and chasing it. But then it became into an adult, and then it was out of control.
right.
And because people are like, well, how could you just keep going and doing heroin? Well, I was so caught up in that I never grew up. You know? I didn't become a man until I turned 30 years old and quit doing the shit.
right.
And that's the truth, you know.
Well,
So-
that takes over your entire life.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it really does.
Before you
How
open
can
your
you
eyes.
focus on any future goals when you can't get past the present?
I mean,
You're spending.
But your present is the drug. Like when you wake
Right.
up, you're thinking about
and,
drugs.
and we're gonna get to that, and we're gonna get to financials, you know, finances and what. But like you said, you know, you wake up every day and that's your goal.
Right.
You know, that's your current goal. You don't have any other goals beyond that. Your goal is to get out of your mental state, whatever, however possible.
right.
So, so the next question, accepting addiction, right? when was it, you drew your own line, where you were just like, listen, man, I can't stop.
Like, so you're asking like when we actually were like, oh, we're done.
No,
or are you
I'm saying like
we know we're at it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
like you're in the process.
when I was young, I accepted the fact that I was an addict. You know what I mean? But I was never like, I want to quit. You know what I mean? But I knew I was addicted.
Right.
But I never had the motivation. There was nothing there, to make me want to quit. But when I got married, and I wanted to grow up, like he said, I wanted to make a man out of myself. That's what I had to do.
Right.
So my motivation pushed me, but the whole time I knew I was an addict, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's I think that's step one is accepting that.
Yeah, for sure it is. But it was a long while before I knew.
You were too far gone.
Within active addiction, I was like, yeah, I'm a fucking addict, blowing down lines of heroin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
but you didn't
given,
care.
really.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So you accepted the fact that you were
exactly.
You were definitely addicted, but you didn't care
because there was nothing. I didn't grow up. I didn't have the wherewithal up here to be like, oh, I need to, start saving money. You know what I mean? Like real man shit. Let's start building a house or whatever the case. I never thought about
real
that.
life goals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it? When was the line that you drew yourself where you knew I'm addicted, and then you were like, fuck, I gotta stop this. Like I gotta do
which
something.
time?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, once a day sometimes.
And that, what he's saying is relapse, man. It's a real thing, and it's part of it, dude. Like, I don't care if you quit once and you stay sober for 20 years. On that 20-year anniversary, you can still get high.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's all that 20 years.
Gone.
It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it never goes away.
Him 3, 4, whatever years he said, he's still going. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's still a battle every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's... But like I said, people don't know this.
Yeah, that's
people really don't. People out there that listen to this that have never fell to a substance addiction or an alcohol addiction, they don't know this.
That's really sad, man. To see someone that has no idea, you know what I mean? That's never personally been through, and they're actively fighting against someone that is going through that. You know what I mean?
Like, and that's the other thing that also really pisses me off on social media is you see, like, what's the sheriff's department will post something. You know what I mean?
Right. But the negative comments, man.
The negative comments
through the roof,
I just
man.
don't get people.
Right. Oh, yeah. There's people that just sit on this shit.
Hey,
just
but you gotta love the one person that says, "Man, I'm praying for you."
Yeah.
Not one like. Not one like every other one that's
why
like
would
a
you,
good
why
shutdown.
Would you, why would you support an
laughing,
addict?
Like,
They're just a piece of shit. Why would you ever support someone why would you support a junkie like that? Mm-hmm. Seriously. Well, I'll tell you why. Change their fucking life. Yeah. It's pretty simple.
Man. We're all
we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest, man. And the people that have never felt an addiction like this, they have no idea.
Well, and I mean, more so, I want to do this to reach out for people, but I also want people that are like that to see there are people out here that beat this shit.
Yeah.
We're not just lost causes, man. And
hey, and when you're trying to quit, it's fucking hard, man. It's hard. That's the worst thing, especially, alcohol, heroin, the stuff that has physical dependency.
Yeah.
Man, that is hard coming off. And, even 2 weeks down the road, you might not be physically sick, but mentally up here, you're still thinking about that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a never-ending battle.
Yeah, it's every day.
It gets easier with time, but man, that beginning is hard. You think that you're not going to get through it, but man, I'm here to say that you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to sound cliche or nothing like that.
Right.
No.
But like when I was sick, and I was like cold chills and shit.
Yeah, dope sickness, man. That's a real thing.
Throwing up, man, bile because I hadn't ate for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that there was any solution out of that except for to go get high.
Right.
Yeah.
But once I got through that, you know, and it might have took 20 times. What I didn't count, but once I got through that stage of, you know, mental, that up here, like, oh man, I don't want to go to work sick, even though physically I wasn't.
Right.
You know.
But then that's all you're thinking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The mind, the whole mindset of it is every bit or more powerful than the physical dependency on it, because that's all you think about. You can't hold a job when all you're sitting there doing is thinking about feeling, well, when I get off of work, how am I going to make sure I got something for tomorrow so I can come back to work? And it's a constant battle. And yeah, we put ourselves there. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But I'm the first one to say that I fucked up. But God gives his greatest battles to his strongest warriors.
Absolutely.
And there's people that put us down out there that would never walk a minute in my fucking shoes.
100%.
I'll vouch for that.
I'm with that.
Yeah, I'll vouch for that.
For real.
For sure. Especially people that have never had to overcome any kind of hardship in their entire life.
People say, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had corona, but I'm just going to say, like, people say having a cold is bad, or, you know, stomach bug, or, you know, diarrhea. Imagine having all of them together. You know what I mean? And still the mental too. On
top of that, knowing that you did it to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So now you're, you know.
Yeah. And we're gonna get to some more of that too. But I'm gonna tell you, because we were talking about the sickness, and for a lot of those people that don't know, I worked at the jail for about a year, and I was a CO. And I'll tell you the reason that I left. And I would watch people get arrested and come through that book and get thrown in the detox room, right? You've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%.
In a turtle suit.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Or a padded room, whatever. But if you've never experienced someone that's on a high or coming off of a high, think of the saddest movie you've ever watched.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
You know, you see a grown-ass man or a woman sitting in a fetal position who can't stop vomiting, who's got the chills, their skin looks like chicken skin.
Hey,
and they're shivering.
You mentioned a sad movie. That's a good reference, because throughout the end, the whole entirety might be sad.
Right.
But I guarantee there's good moments in there, right? There's happy times in there, right?
When they get through the sickness,
but
and they get to
when you're high, you're not thinking about that bad shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
There's those happy moments. You might think, oh, yeah, I'm good right now. Listen to this, like, oh, I'm not going to be sick because I got the plug, I got money, whatever. You know? But something always happens, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It don't matter.
But in my case, I've watched 50. I watched that 50, 60 times. You know what I mean? And that never, you don't ever get used to that.
Right.
You know, when you see, and especially when I've seen people my age, that's when it really hits you. Mm-hmm. You know, when you see someone you're directly involved with or have known in the past, or, you know, what have you, you can't continue. You can't watch that over and over again, and you just get used to it, man. If you do, you really have no heart. I mean, truthfully, you don't have a heart, because, and like you said, every addict's different. Well, they all come down differently as well. Right. From what I've seen, you know, you get the sickness. Everybody gets a dope sickness when they come down, but everybody has different ways of coming down.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
And I couldn't watch that. You know, I did it for a year, and I was like, man, I like to think I'm a pretty tough guy. I don't get too emotional, but man, that shit brought me to tears.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you see someone you know, or someone older, a grown-ass man or woman in the 30s, and they're in the fetal position crying for a family member or a loved one because they're legit going to die.
Yeah, they feel like they are.
I've seen it to where they almost have.
I was going to say, and it gets that far, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. I've seen EMTs had to come in, you know, and I've watched people get Narcaned,
right,
and almost die,
right,
coming off of a high, getting dope sick, you know. And for people that might not know, explain that a little bit about dope sickness, how long that lasts, and how much of hell that is.
Well, I mean, nowadays, I don't know about you, but nowadays they're doing totally different drugs. You know what I mean? It's not heroin and cocaine. It's like fake heroin, fentanyl, and
Yeah, it can be cut with anything.
You know, fake cocaine. It's like research chemicals and stuff. You know, and so when it's stronger like that, the come down is obviously going to be stronger. You know,
Not only that, the high itself make you do weird shit.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure with all drugs.
Yeah.
And it just it intensifies it. You know what I mean? The come down too. And I in my mind, the mental, it's a lot for me, you know. I don't know if it's true, but I feel like the drugs nowadays, meaning the last time I used, which was, you know, year or so, but it wasn't heroin, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had a longer detox. Yeah. You know, I felt like in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? I was still feeling it up here, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, again, mental was a lot of it, you know what I mean? But
and it happens faster. It happens sooner.
Right, yes, for sure.
But I mean, think about it. That's what, you know, they want.
Yeah.
The people that are up top of that pyramid.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want you to come down faster.
Yeah. Well, that's how all that started.
For more.
You know what I mean? You get a drug dealer who wants to make more money, and they start cutting the shit.
Right.
And you cut the shit, you have more of the shit, and same addiction. They keep coming back, and you spend less money. You make money.
Well, and that goes back to the whole internet thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they order this stuff online. They don't have to deal with smuggling it into the country anymore.
It's here.
So it's not only easier for them to get, it's more addictive, and it's more readily available.
Yeah.
You know, so they want you to come down faster so that you make that trip down 50 back to Cincinnati real quick.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
But
man.
you said explain the sickness, you know.
Yeah, that's hell.
It's any sickness you could ever imagine, all wrapped up in one. And then if and when that's ever over, you know what I mean? You have to deal with the whole thought of being sick, or the thoughts of addiction just racing through your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so for me it was always like it's physical but until I go to jail, I never really wrote out the physical part of it or the whole come down process.
Right.
Okay, jail was necessary for me to get sober. I'm going to say that right now.
Right.
So even though those stats are high, that saved my life because
it saved you from yourself.
Yeah, because I'm not you can't anyone, and I have.
If you're
just
not
like
forced
you said,
to come down, you won't.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have the ability to not be sick,
yes,
I'm gonna do it, man. I don't care. Like, I know this sounds gruesome, but man, I'll suck your dick. You know what I mean? Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you would literally do whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
To get
That's
that
like,
fixed.
I'm not literally gonna suck someone's. Right. You know what I mean? But like,
I was like, whoa, man, I've never been that far.
Like you'll go to any extent to get that high. You know what I mean? So if you can, the jail blocks any thought of ever getting high.
Right,
You know
and it helps. I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever, so like you run the streets in it, you could go a couple days and not have anything, you know, and just be grinding. I call it grind day whenever I was, you know, in active addiction. But then, and it would be hell, you know, because I know there's some way, somehow I can get this to feel better.
Right.
But then whenever I get locked up, it was like almost a weight lifted off of your shoulders, man. It was like, I know that there's a 99% chance that I'm not going to be able to get it. So now I'm just going through the physical part of it, and it's honestly not that bad.
Right.
At this point. Because,
especially that you don't have to do nothing in jail, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, so like, it's hell on the streets. It is. It's hell knowing.
And that's the number one cause for relapse on the streets, I think. I mean, okay, so you go to
what is no?
So when if someone like I said, you can't find it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Say you can't find it, and then you start coming down. Like, you know, you're gonna relapse.
But here's the thing, man. I'm gonna say something, and it's honestly gonna probably ruin a lot of. If this gets out to the right people, it's gonna ruin a lot of people that are in active addictions, money source or whatever. But a lot of times, these people that care about us, that don't understand addiction, that don't understand or never been through it, they give you the reasons they want a reason so bad. Okay, this is why they are the way they are.
Right.
Okay? That they will make excuses for you and enable you because they themselves don't understand it enough that they want to know right now why you are the way you are. So it's, okay, like for me, his brother died. His brother overdosed on heroin. He goes through that. You know, just whatever. His life got changed at a young age. This happened to him. That happened to
Traumatic
him.
experience.
You know,
caused
but
this.
honestly, at the end of the day,
It was you.
I just like getting high.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, sure, it turned into. There was things that kept me there.
Yep.
But as far as like the actual physical part of going out, I liked the way it made me feel. There is no underlying for the addict that I am.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot.
I'm with you 100%.
So here's something we can crush right now, because you see this a lot on social media. When you see people comment on the shit on Facebook, they'll say, it's not a disease, it's a choice. Or it's a choice, not a decision. Or a disease.
I can't say that a disease or otherwise, because I don't know. I've never had a disease. You know what I'm saying? I've never had cancer, but I have addiction. You know what I mean?
But
I know
people
how
that compare that, you know what I mean?
I know how addiction makes me feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that it's more than just saying I'm not going to do drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's easy.
It's not so black and white.
And maybe it's not a disease, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? But it sure the hell isn't normal. You know what I mean? Like, or it shouldn't be. If everyone feels this way, this world is, you know, but there's no way that everyone is addicted like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like a normal addiction, like a common addiction.
Right.
But I still don't think that you can compare it to a disease. And again, I'm talking about who I am.
Right.
I cannot get into him and say that they don't have a disease that made them the way that they are.
And that's a big factor in why I can't say addiction is a disease, because like he said, everyone's different, man.
And for me,
that's
it
like
was
apples
mainly
and
choices.
oranges, you know, comparing Alzheimer's to cancer, you know, shit like that, or a cold to cancer, you know, one's this, one's that. Apples to oranges is different, but the same. You know, it's a fruit, but it's not. You know,
it's a whole other animal. That's the only way that you can describe it. Yeah, there's a lot of choices and there's a lot of things, but then for some people, like, you know, there wasn't those choices, man. It's like this. It's like driving a car versus driving a truck. You could lift the car up and it'll drive just like a truck. You know,
or you can lower a truck too and it'll drive like a car.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Everything's different. Everyone's different.
But for me, I will say that it is not a disease.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say that for myself.
Right on.
For myself and who I am as an addict, it was a whole lot of selfish, entitled bullshit.
And you would also say that the excuses are bullshit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for someone that's out there listening to that, you know what I mean?
There's a such thing as a product of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
If you're brought up
in a shit home
and your parents are selling dope, what do you think you're gonna want to do?
Yeah. Well, you don't see anything wrong with that.
Exactly. And two, what do you think you're probably going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they give you allowance, it's probably going to be drugs. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Well, I've seen it also where the parents have the kids sell for them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That shit
that's what I'm
happens
saying.
too.
100%.
So
See, my mom and dad never drank. If they did, it was once a year maybe.
right, very seldomly.
Now, my grandma, my grandpa, that's a whole totally different story. Yeah, they say alcoholism is a disease. I mean, you can go out and buy it. So yeah, I can say alcoholism is a disease.
Right.
But if you're not grown up around it, more than likely you're going to do it.
So it could be both.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the decision. Like in your instance, you were around alcohol, right? But you chose.
Yeah, I chose it.
You chose.
And that's why I say there's so many different types of addicts.
Right.
You know, there's so many different roads that can lead you to where, and some of them you have control over and some people don't. You know?
Right.
Some people can just go out, have one drink, be cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people,
I mean, I know people that do that with drugs.
Exactly.
I mean,
we
there-
touched on that earlier. I think it's the same. You can do it, but you're not addicted, you know.
Yeah.
But or you can be addicted to something that's not even illegal, you know. It goes both ways. It's a two-sided street.
alcohol to me was a drug because once I had that first drink, that was it. That's all it took. I'm drunk, passed out, wanting more.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah, you get the same way as
See, and
drugs.
that's-
You're out of your mental state.
I've never
for
been
sure.
there. You know what I mean? Like
drinking-wise,
and this
or
is
like-
why. So we're addicts sitting right here next to each other, but I still can't relate to you. So how is it like? It's not really so surprising. It shouldn't be that there's so many people out there that are completely out of touch with it that can't understand anything that we're saying.
Right.
Because I'm sitting right here with you,
And what he's saying is we've all dealt with addiction, and he can't even relate because
Right.
he's different. It's a different drug of choice.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I done my share of meth. Believe me.
Right. Yeah.
There was one point I had 1.5 grams left. I was like, all right, I've been up for about 4, 5, 6 days. I want to go to sleep. I'm done with it. I want it to be over. Took that whole 1.5 grams in a hot roll. Hot rail. Oh, best fucking feeling ever.
Yeah.
But I went to bed.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
Body was like, no, man.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I woke up with my dad, grandma, his wife in, 2 half-naked girls on the bed, they're thinking, why the fuck are you sleeping?
Yeah.
I was tired. Yeah. I mean, that's the only excuse I can come up with. I mean, I knew he knew I was on it, but he wasn't going to come out and say it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what...
You can kick that off because that's the next question is about family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Like,
a big deal. Because, I mean, how did that affect? You know, how does these addictions affect, you know, because once you, like we said, you've accepted the fact that you're addicted, you don't give a shit, right? You still do it. There comes a line eventually down the road where you decide that enough's enough, right? But during that whole process, when was it, you know, you start seeing your family start fading away?
Oh, man.
Or, I mean, that happens, obviously.
Well, let's just be honest, you know, like I said, I moved here when I was a juvenile, you know, I was 16 years old, and my mom went to jail because she was addicted to meth, you know what I mean? And I'd come home, you know, I wasn't a really horrible kid, you know, I smoked weed and drank a little bit, but I wasn't off the chain, and I come home and she wasn't there, and her probation officer come and told me that I can either go to jail or go to the group home. So what I'm getting at is I had to leave Arizona to Indiana. That's, you know, almost 2,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Because my mom was addicted. I had no choice in that as a child. You know what I mean? I could have took care of myself.
But like you said, you moved here with your grandma, right?
Not with. I moved here because my grandma lived here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But did you live with her?
Yes.
And were you living with her at the time when you were going through your addiction?
Yes.
How did that affect grandma, or you know, the family that was here that seen you? You know what I mean? When did that start to open your eyes a little bit and say, you know, damn. You know what I mean? You know, that's an eye opener for yourself, for you especially. I know.
Oh man.
I know for a fact. You know, but
well, see, addicts are good liars, man. They really are, and you can convince people that you're clean, and they want to believe you. People that love you want to believe you because they want you to do the right thing.
Right.
So when you say, "Yeah, I'm clean," "Yeah, I'm gonna stay clean," they're like, "He is clean. He's gonna stay clean."
Right.
And then when you fuck up, and they know you fucked up, and you still say, "No, I'm clean. I'm staying clean." It's hard for them to call you out, one, and for two, it's hard for them to believe you again.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like you said, you know, you it's not uncommon for you to relapse.
Right.
It's not uncommon. It happens. I know people. It's been 20 times.
Yeah,
you know what I
for
mean.
sure.
But every
20
single time you do that,
small, like you
yeah,
know,
literally.
yeah, for sure.
You know, but for my instance,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm just saying, a lot of times, every time I did drugs, I was like, man, this is the last time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to quit.
Oh, yeah.
You
The
think
same
I
way with
quit?
drinks, right?
Hey, and
I
I
mean, the
caught
same
the
way with
next
alcohol.
day.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know how many times I told my fiance, "Oh, I'm done. I'm not going to drink again. This is my last OWI. Last time driving and drinking." What happens 2 weeks later? Back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, so
You start losing that trust, right? You start your family starts to kind of.
100%.
It's not like you don't want to say they're giving up on you.
You know, I
but-
lost my marriage over it.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, I was clean, dude. And trying to do the right thing, you know? But my wife could not believe me.
because of all the times in the
of-
past.
Exactly. And I was legit, like, not doing anything wrong, you know, that was what I was in the past. But the fact that I would lie about the littlest, dumbest shit. She couldn't believe me that I was
You lost the trust.
going next door.
Yeah,
she
you
would
lose that
watch
trust.
me and still not believe it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it legit ruined our marriage. You know,
Right.
still after we've been divorced for 8 months, man, we're still trying to build that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard. dude.
It's a lot easier to burn bridges than to
Yes,
rebuild them.
exactly.
Yeah, that's a big
Exactly.
fact.
Well, and like for me, like so you go through the 15 years, you know, and your family, little bits at a time, start to disappear, you know, and they tell you, we're gonna wash our hands of you, we're gonna wash our hands of you, this is gonna be the last time, and then it happens, and then you're sitting
Absolutely.
alone on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it gives me fucking goosebumps, man,
Yeah.
because you're sitting there alone and you're like, man, like they're really legit.
They're done.
Like you couldn't go knock on your dad's. I didn't talk to my dad for 4 years. I wasn't allowed to see my daughter for 4 years.
Hey, and you can be sad as fuck about that, you know,
Right.
but you cannot be mad about someone.
No.
You know, I don't know about your situation. I'm saying if you're addicted and your family
It's gonna do the best for you.
You can't be mad at them
Right.
for it. You know what I mean?
Now that I've got straightened up, you know, it took some people a lot longer. I mean, like I said, it's been almost 3 years. And there was my grandma and grandpa. They're not my blood grandma and grandpa, but they always raised me like one. They took
they're
me to
blood.
Florida with them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
consider them as
Yeah,
blood. I
for
mean,
sure.
that's for
And
sure.
They wouldn't. I mean, after 2 years of being solid, and everyone else back around, they still were at a distance, you know. And in my eyes, I never did the things to them. I never did half the things to them that I did to other people that already accepted me back.
Right.
And then like my brother-in-law would be like, "Man, that's bullshit, man. They should give you a chance." I'm like, "Listen, I created that monster.
Yeah.
I am the one that messed that trust up. I'm the one that told them so many times that I was better.
I'm changed.
And
I'm different.
made
Yeah.
them.
Right.
I made this.
Yeah, you can only
monster.
say that so many times, like
Right.
like we said. You,
Now,
know,
you
and
can
then-
say it as many times as you want, but it's
Right.
only believable the first few times. You
It's
know what I'm
like
saying?
it's like what my dad always tells me: you can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
yeah.
it's true, man. Because I was not able to see them, talk to them, and they were the last ones. But to me, the fact that I had gotten back everyone else, you know, I'm not. How could I be mad about that?
Right.
I mean, everyone else, including my brother that wouldn't speak to me or be in the same room as me
Right.
for years. So if I got everybody back but them, yeah, it sucks, but that's my fault.
Yeah.
But now recently, just out of the blue, bam, here they come back.
Hey, next right thing, man. That's
And
what they always
it's crazy, man. Like, I'm so blessed. And that's why, like, things like this are so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because my goal, so you go through this addiction and you live your life and you're so selfish and you have all those lonely holidays and you lose all your friends and you lose all these brothers and you lose all this family, and then you do nothing with it. Once you make it through, if you're lucky enough not to die,
Exactly.
and you don't
Yes.
do anything with it, to hell with you.
Yeah.
Don't sit in the shadows and just be that construction worker that overcame addiction
Yeah.
or that sales rep that overcame addiction.
Yeah.
get that information out to people that could use it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, what the hell was the point?
Someone that can relate to it, even if it's a part of my story or, none of my story, or
might be his.
Yeah, some of yours and some of his, if they can relate to it and be like, man, maybe it's possible if we can just plant that seed. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just like we said, right? You said every addiction's different. You guys three right here, 3 different addictions.
Exactly.
Your story might save those certain people that can relate to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus your story might relate to people that were like you, and you with alcohol can relate to you, man.
And
that's why I'm doing
know
this.
that I speak for myself right here, but I'm sure everyone in this room will accept anyone's words. We'll talk back to you. There's no reason for us to
absolutely
say no to help, trying to do anything we can to help you. I know that I will do anything in my power to help anyone in active
because you've been down it, and
to a certain extent. Because I will say that I had points in before relapses where because I felt like my whole life going through this that there was a reason. And that's what keeps you, grounded that I'm going to beat this shit eventually.
Right. Yeah.
And so I wanted to get out and help people way too fast, man.
Yeah.
So this time, now that I've gotten it, so far up to 3 years right, was because I had to set boundaries, man.
You didn't jump straight in the mud.
I can't do it,
yeah.
man. I can't. You have to. If there's one thing, if you can be selfish in addiction, you need to be selfish in recovery at some points.
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
I'm telling you right now, man, you can't just go. It's simple decisions, man. I feel like that
people, places, things.
Man, and I tell you, people really make it too hard. Okay, so today, before I came here, okay, I could these old friends and stuff, I could go hang out and I might be okay, if I went and hung out with these old friends, people that I know are actively using, which I don't do, but let's say it was a thought. Okay, so I could go do that and I might make it out this one time okay, or I might not. Or I could come in here with a group of people that have the same mentality as me and hang out and know for a fact that I'm going to be good.
Right.
Simple decision. Go left or right. You know what I'm saying? And if you take every single party, it comes second nature eventually. But if you take your life and you build it around those simple decisions, it gets a whole lot easier in addiction and overcoming it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I got. If you guys look on that paper, the one thing I have highlighted, to me, from what I've experienced and seen with addicts, I've seen people, they'll come and go out of rehab. And when they get out of rehab, they'll be clean. They got the mindset. They're good.
And then they go back.
They go right back to the same fucking people.
Well,
yeah.
And that's the hardest part of it is breaking off those friendships.
If your friends or your family who are doing the addiction can't understand why you can't come around, then
you can't hold yourself accountable for that. You got to make a decision that's best for you. Exactly.
And I made that mistake.
In recovery, just like you said, you got to.
You have to be selfish. Recovery. And there was so many times where, even family down to brothers, I just, I got. I'm done, man. I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Because I don't think I have another run left in me. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't have another relapse, run through the addiction. I mean, for one, I would lose everything that I have.
Which is a lot.
And you'd be 50 years old. So.
Right, And it's like, I don't have another run in me.
Right.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I can't hang out.
Hey, I don't want to have another run even if I did,
I'm just done.
And I'm going to be the first one sitting here to tell you guys, I would love to get high. I would love to. I'd love to have that feeling. You know what I mean? I really would. But I know in my heart, in my brain, I know, why would you put yourself through that again?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've come this far not to fuck it up again.
Yeah, not only,
And that's the part of the addict's brain that people don't understand, because people are like, how could you go that long and then fuck up?
Yep.
Because that's a thought all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
It doesn't happen to me very often, but sometimes, I think it was today or yesterday, thought pops in my head. I actively and out loud tell myself no. And I go on about my day.
It's like, I got that taste. That taste of the meth that comes back here and there. Mm-hmm. It's like, why do I have it?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever fired a spoon up and got that smell.
Yeah.
I always smell that too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but
There's so many,
you know,
and they call them, I guess they're triggers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I call it spiritual warfare is what I call it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is.
a sign from God.
It's
come
spiritual
on,
warfare.
dude,
It's
yeah.
the devil trying to come in and remind you, hey, man, you remember this shit?
Yeah.
Well, that's where you got to have enough. You got to be grounded
Self-control.
enough. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it takes a long time to build it.
So, so the last thing we'll touch out real quick, and then we'll close this out, because like I said, you know, we're kind of close on time here, but this might be one of the hardest things to talk about. It always is for me, but deaths and ODs and the Narcan, you know, or the traffic fatalities that you might see from OWIs.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff out there, but what was it like? You know, when you're doing this addiction or whatever you're addicted to, this drug or alcohol or whatever, and you see one of your friends, or you see, you know, what is the thought process that goes to your mind when you see someone else pass away? Right? I know that sucks. I'm sorry, but
Hey, you know what? Any person that has done heroin or an opiate can vouch for me saying this. Anytime someone ODs, that's gonna be the spot. Like that's
I
gonna be
know
the,
that for a fact.
best heroin or the best
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're gonna
I want
try
what they have.
actively search.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this right now.
I've
I've seen the messages. I've got to read some of the messages and stuff that, you know, that are get sent back and forth. And I've personally seen this. A drug dealer will text somebody and say, "Hey, man, I got that shit that's killing people."
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, where you at?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know that's the best. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best stuff around, and you're gonna want that. You want the best. You know, and for people that don't understand that,
No.
that's a real thing.
No.
That is the truth.
And it's so unfortunate, you know what I mean? Because I know everyone in this room has seen someone die. You know,
Absolutely.
maybe not like with your eyes, but, you know, someone close to you has died from addiction. You know what I mean?
I have personally Narcan someone.
Yeah.
Well, I've been personally Narcan myself multiple times, you know what I'm saying? Not trying to talk it up or anything, but, you know, man.
And at what point in time did it ever occur to you guys that could be you? That it could be you that
Died.
you don't wake up.
Yeah. I mean, all the time. You play
Every
Russian
day.
roulette, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't sit here and I mean, I got them on my arm, but this is I know people listening can't see it. That's a recovery ribbon.
Right.
And Darren Lovegrove, that's my brother. Ryan Ross, he was my best friend. Nathan Philpott, Brandon Philpott, they were my uncles. And then Chad Dorsey, they're on my arm. And I kind of made this like a memorial just to kind of remind me, man, because,
Can happen to anyone.
yeah, man, like Darren, he was young. I mean,
Nobody, to me personally, nobody that I knew that he was even.
right?
Because,
and
like you said, you can hide it very well.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
lie
I mean,
about it easy.
Let's be honest, I knew, but that's because I was getting high with him. You
Right.
know what I mean? That,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not like he was flaunting it, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think really, unless you're super into it, you don't flaunt something like that.
No.
You know what
Right.
I mean? You're not out there like, yeah, I'm addicted to
Right.
drugs.
Yeah, you're not
It's
super
in the
proud
cut.
of it.
Exactly.
Especially if you've been grounded with some morals,
Yeah, exactly.
and you know that you got a lot of people to disappoint.
And that's where the more lies come into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you just keep lying. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not high. No, I'm not getting high. No, I'm not going to get high. You know what I mean?
You're right. So,
But yeah, I'm sorry, man. I gotta jump back.
No,
in there,
go
though,
for it,
because, with Chad and my brothers and Brandon and Nathan, like I feel like I know I was a negative influence that they looked up to. So like that's another reason why this shit is so important to me to talk about this.
Right.
Because if I don't, then then their death was for nothing.
yeah, and we can't
You
let that
know.
happen.
And
I mean,
it's
I'm
already
not
on
gonna
my
let that happen.
conscience enough. Like,
Every
you know what
day.
I'm saying? And
Oh, yeah.
and even though I know that they had their own choices and whatnot, but you still look up to people. And I can't tell you how many kids are like, man, I used to look up to you. Like, oh, it's got to
No,
be
I
cool
looked
if
up to
AJ
Darren,
Wilson's
dude.
doing it.
I looked up to Darren.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and then
so Darren looked
but-
up to you.
yeah, it's
you
like-
know what I
it's
mean? I
a-
looked up to all those guys.
So
They were
now
much
I'm trying to
older
be a
than me.
light, man. now I'm trying to be a light and remind people that, hey, these guys are gone, but man, they lived.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir,
man.
And they lived, and they lost
Yeah.
a battle that can easily be won if you just try. If
Yeah.
you just really give in, man. And people out there that are praying for addicts, don't stop, because that's the only explanation I have for why I am where I am is answered prayer.
Yeah,
Because I tried everything.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, and opiates solution, quote unquote, is Suboxone, and I tried that shit, man.
No.
And I'm not down on anyone that does it. Please do it. I'd rather someone do that than heroin. But
It ain't
clean,
what- yeah.
totally clean.
Right,
Dude, I'm
You know
telling
what I
you,
mean?
it's
You
like the
can
greatest
do
feeling.
it. You know what I mean? You can do it, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
here's
we were
one thing
fucked.
real quick, man. So let's get to this, and we'll close out with this. You know what I mean? So there, that there is someone out there that's going to listen to this that's going through addiction.
Yeah.
We
I
know
hope,
that for a fact. I hope so too.
hope to God.
That's why I'm doing
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
And if they don't,
And
then,
I hope
then-
they know me. And I hope they used to get
Yes.
high with me. And I hope that they listened to what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's doable. Addicts do recover. I mean, if you don't think that, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at 3 people right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
we're doing it.
but if you guys could, like I said, there's going to be someone out there listening to this. What's the best advice that you guys could give, you personally, the best advice that you could give to anyone that needs the motivation to come off this shit, that needs to change their life? We all know it's a self-choice, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
That is, ultimately
becomes
it's a
that.
self-choice.
I'm not saying that that's what.
Are you asking how they can do it or why they should do it?
However you want to put it.
Okay.
Give them the motivation right now. Give them the motivation. How much different is your life right now compared to what it was 5 years ago?
Shit.
I'm looking at you right now. I
Hey,
know.
you don't have to lie every day.
You don't have to grind and
Yeah,
hustle
exactly,
the dirty way.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to wake up every day and wonder what the fuck you're going to do to get this done or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Man, I'll say it like this. Let's go back 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I had no idea where I was going to lay my head at night. All I knew was one thing was for sure: I was getting high that day.
yeah.
I had no idea what my daughter's favorite thing at the time was. I had no idea what was going on in my dad's life. Even the people that I was in contact with, I still didn't know shit about them because I was so wrapped up in my addiction. I didn't even know what I liked. I didn't even know who I was as a man. And I'm sure that there's people out there right now that feel that same way. Like you don't even know yourself anymore.
Yep.
But let me tell you about where I'm at now. Now, through just making the right simple decisions, I am now reconnected with everyone that I can think of that I never thought I would be having a relationship with. My daughter's at my house right now. When I leave here, I'm taking all the kids. And that's another thing I got to say. Now I'm blessed with 3 kids that aren't biologically mine that look to me and they refer to me as their dad. And I got an awesome woman that I'm going to be married to as soon as I get off this damn house arrest. And I have these things and I have people who depend on me, and it is way better than having people that depended on me for drugs when I was getting them drugs.
Be that person that you want someone younger to look up to,
Right.
so they can be just like you.
Right.
Be the role model you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I went from all that, man, and now I have all this responsibility. I run a business with my dad, Wilson Timber Consulting. Well, shout out to the business. If you guys have any trees you want looked at, give us a call.
Yes, sir.
Also, this is amazing. I know that we're running short on time, but
No, you're good.
so the one of the officers, and I'm friends with a lot of the officers now that used to look for me, and one of the officers that literally was involved in CI cases against me, with undercover buys and whatnot years ago, literally had me, and it's been out there on Facebook, Wes Thayer. Gotta say it, man, because he actively searched for me and tried to get me hemmed up and all these things because of who I was. And he had me come to his house about a month ago, clear out for his pole barn, trusted me there while he was at work with his family there. My daughter played with his daughter. And to me, that's the full circle of addiction and being trusted to be at the police officer's home who knows who you were in
Yeah.
active addiction. That's true change. And the sky's the limit. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you'd have told me 5 years ago that that's what I'd be doing in 2021, I'd have been like, there ain't no fucking way.
Right. And another thing I also want to say about that, because like I said yesterday, I talked to Freeman.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what Freeman said to me. We were sitting down there. He said, what you're going to do with this addiction, this podcast about addiction, is 150% better than anything he could say or do.
Yeah.
And that's truth, because let's face it, when you guys were going through this, who's the last person you wanted to run into was the fucking law.
The red and blues for sure.
You know what I mean? But just like that, Freeman told me he took you out to breakfast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's true.
And people that are out there that hate on our sheriff's department, they do care. I mean, they do. And just like you said, you getting arrested and thrown into a detox room, that saved you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was needed. Right. And like you said, if you don't have that opportunity, you don't get arrested, you don't get sent in there, you don't have to forcefully detox, you're not going to.
No, I mean, there are people that do, but they're a hell of a lot stronger than I am.
The hell of a lot stronger than about probably 98% of the addicts, I would say.
For sure.
That's a special breed. You know what I mean? So,
right.
All right, so you asked why they should quit. Why? And the only thing I could think is like we've been talking about the whole time, we're all different. So sit yourself down and do this. Write a list of pros and cons of using drugs. Okay? And you can use them sparingly.
And don't bullshit yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Be truthful.
So, and
it's just you.
Yeah.
Don't lie to yourself.
And there's your why. And if you want how, all you have to do is, if you're listening to this, then I guarantee you someone in this room how to get a hold of them, and they'll point you in the right direction, 100%.
But you also can't be mad if you get a hold of somebody and you try to give them a runaround. Because
you ain't gonna bullshit me.
Exactly. You, like I said, you gotta be selfish with recovery too. And I think you guys are all definitely. Yeah. I mean, you guys are past it. You're good. You're rock solid.
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
Yeah. I've physically seen you on Facebook. I'm not saying a name, but I witnessed the comments saying, "Dude, you're not gonna come around me."
Yeah.
Because I'm not. I can't do it. You know what I mean? I've seen it. So. And
that's hard, man.
It's extremely hard.
Especially when you're a people pleaser, because that's what I am.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's why on here I underline that is the friends, the whole friends. That's the hardest part. To me, what I've seen is I've seen 100 people.
Well, and that's why so many people have to go away from here to do it.
Yeah.
But me, I'm a stubborn person, and I wanted to do it right here. Right here where it started is where I wanted to finish the battle.
Perfect proof it's possible, man, right here.
Yep.
Right here, you know what I mean?
Yep. And so just to close this out, guys, like I said, I can't thank you enough for coming on here, and because I know this wasn't easy. I mean, it might have been, but to me, I couldn't imagine. I've never had to go through it, so for me, it was just, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'll just say that right now.
Just
because to all these people that are going to listen to this, you three right here could change lives.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So.
Just remember, every day you're going to have thoughts and cravings.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, and they don't have to be actions.
Yeah,
they can be thoughts and cravings and left right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't beat it all in one day.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, fuck.
Definitely not.
But you can beat it today.
Yeah,
just today.
Yep.
Just this moment. You know what I'm saying?
Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. Yep. Get through the day, man. That's what it is. You know.
And I just want to say, anybody out there that if you listen to this, just if you are one of them naysayers and you want to nitpick everything that we said, just keep it to yourself, man. And I want people to know that I pray for you personally, because you have some things inside yourself that you need fixed. So I pray for you that God opens your eyes to see that there are lots of different people in this world and lots of different struggles people go to.
And also to contribute to that, you know what I mean? A lot of people that are like that are going to have kids.
Right.
And you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
I want to open the door to anyone that has an opinion other than mine. Okay?
Yeah.
If you think other than anything that I said, please tell me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as long as it's not F this, F that, you're an idiot, hit me with some facts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm down.
It's not arguing.
I'll change
man.
my mind.
It's just
I will
trading
change
opinions.
my mind.
Yeah.
But tell me why I'm
Right.
changing my mind. Make it make sense to me. You know what I mean? Just like with my argument, I'll do the same. you know, and if it doesn't in the end, then I might change my mind. You know what I'm saying?
But I just, out of all this, I just wanted this to be the eye opener. For all those addicts that are going through it, to see that you can get through it. It's not easy, but right here's three believers, that's went through it, and you can get through it too.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I hope to God that this gets out to people. If it's even one person, mission accomplished.
Exactly.
But if it doesn't, just know I'm going to keep living my life, and I'm going to keep beating this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep killing life, and that's all that matters to me.
Sir.
So as far as being selfish in recovery, I hope to God this helps people. But if it don't, just know that this person on this mic right now is going to continue to be the person that they are today.
Yes,
not
sir.
who they
Amen.
were, and that's what I'm going to be remembered for.
Amen.
And keep striving for greatness, man.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean?
Every day,
Never
man.
go back. Don't look back.
And before we close out, man, I just want to people please pray for Abby.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes. If anyone,
I didn't want to close it out without saying something about it. I know it's not on
absolutely.
topic. It had nothing to do with drugs, but I just want to say, pray for her, man.
Yeah.
She's in a rough state. And
you hate to see that. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
For anyone.
No, that's just a big deal. So,
for sure.
Definitely. If you guys get time tonight, say some thoughts and prayers for Abby Wiltshire, because they definitely need them. Definitely need them. So. All right, guys. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I appreciate everyone who listens to this, and if you listen to this all the way through, bless you. And if you would share this, because this has to be heard.
Yes.
These numbers are undeniable. These stories are undeniable.
Hey, and it's not just here.
Yes,
it's not
it's
just
stories.
It might be bad here, and it might be worse somewhere else, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Trust
Always
me.
love
Everywhere.
yourself. Never hate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on. This is another episode of Pub Talk.